When we hear the word slavery, most of us picture ships crossing the Atlantic, black bodies in chains, whipped fields, and cruel masters. But the truth is much larger. Slavery existed everywhere, across continents, centuries, and cultures. Long before skin color mattered, power did. The enslaved were the poor, the conquered, the forgotten, those who lost everything except the will to survive. This is their story, the global history of human bondage. The earliest civilizations built greatness on the backs of the powerless. In Egypt and Mesopotamia, debt could chain a farmer's family for generations. In Greece and Rome, slavery was an accepted fact. Some were war captives, others poor citizens who owed too much. You could be educated, talented, even beloved, and still be owned. Freedom was possible, but rare. Most never lived to see it. In the ancient world, poverty was the first master. Conquest made slaves of millions. When empires clashed, the winners took more than land. They took people. Romans chained Celts and Germans. Vikings raided Slavic villages. The very word slave comes from Slav. In Africa, rival tribes sold war captives. In Asia, dynasties forced conquered people to build palaces and walls. Across every border, defeat meant servitude. Slavery was not born of race, it was born of loss. Every faith wrestled with bondage. The Bible, the Quran, the Vedas, all mentioned servants and masters. Some verses urged mercy, others justified hierarchy. For centuries, people believed servitude was the natural order. Fate, written by gods. Religion gave comfort to the enslaved and excuses to the enslavers. Centuries before Europeans arrived, African and Arab worlds traded in people. Victorious tribes sold captives north through the Sahara and east across the sea. Caravans marched for weeks under brutal heat. Millions crossed deserts and oceans. Some became soldiers, some servants, some concubines. The trade lasted 1,000 years, quiet and vast. Its victims, nameless, uncounted, forgotten by both history and geography. In medieval Europe, open slavery faded, but freedom never came. Serfs were tied to soil they didn't own, born owing labor to lords. They couldn't leave, couldn't choose, couldn't dream beyond the manor walls. Hunger was the chain, law was the lock. For centuries, Europe's peasants lived as slaves in all but name. The Atlantic slave trade turned human suffering into industry. From the 1500s to the 1800s, more than 12 million Africans were taken by force. Ships crossed, oceans packed with bodies, half dying before landfall. For the first time, slavery was defined by skin. Color became currency. Human worth measured by pigment. The system built empires and left scars that still burn. In Asia and the Pacific, bondage wore different faces. In Japan, peasants served samurai lords. In Korea, whole families lived and died as nobi. Across Southeast Asia, colonization turned tribute into forced labor. From the rice fields to island plantations, the same story repeated. Poverty at the bottom, profit at the top. We like to believe slavery ended, but it only changed its costume. Today, more than 40 million people live in forced labor and human trafficking. They sew our clothes, mine our metals, harvest our food. Their captors aren't kings. They're corporations, cartels, and poverty itself. The old chains were iron. The new ones are invisible, but just as strong. Across 5,000 years, slavery took many names. Debt, conquest, caste, race, wage. But its victims were always the same. the poor, the powerless, the unheard. To remember them is to see ourselves honestly. True freedom isn't just breaking old chains, it's preventing new ones. Every person deserves dignity, no matter where or when they were born. The fight against slavery never ended. It simply waits for us to continue it.